Identity matters.
Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Bernie Furshpan. On today's podcast episode, Ordinary Heroes, I have a hero who has done extraordinary things in her community. It may be local, but her thinking is global. Thank you so much for joining me, Rebecca Sassouni. Thank you so much for joining us today here at HMTV at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center. Now, you've worn a lot of hats. You've been a lawyer, an educator, a nonprofit leader, a trustee, a past president, a rabbi. What's going on here? Let's start at the beginning. How did all of this begin? What experiences shaped your passion for law and community leadership?
So it's really very nice to be invited here. Thank you so much for this invitation.
My pleasure.
I think it all just begins with being a Jew.
Okay. If you can just unpack that for our audience.
So I've never not been conscious of being a Jew. From my earliest memories, I've been the daughter of my parents, the granddaughter of my grandparents, the cousin of my cousins, and etc. The niece of my aunts and uncles.
So it's a big family affair.
Correct. And what that has meant in my family, and then of course, as that advanced, it became the wife to my husband, right, and the daughter-in-law to my in-laws, and of course, the pride and joy of my life, the mom to our children.
Right. Each with their own responsibilities.
Exactly, and in relationship, right? And each of those has been as a mom now, but along the way has been as a Jew. And so why do I go back? Ours is a journey of Jews in diaspora, right, which is, I can now say succinctly. But even my earliest memories as a 3-year-old, when I think back, have been as an American, but a child of immigrants from Iran.
And so both your parents came from Persia, as the Iranians here like to call it. And when did they come here to the United States? Were you born there or were you born here?
So I was born in 1970 in Missouri.
Oh, in Missouri.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
So my father and
that
mother...
makes sense.
It did at the time, not to me, because I don't remember it. But my birth certificate reflects this, and I know that's an important indicator these days. But my parents got married in Iran and moved to the United States for their honeymoon. And I was born quickly thereafter. And they are both naturalized American citizens who... chose this to be the place they raised their family. So my father was completing his graduate degree studies in Missouri, and as soon as he got his graduate degree, we moved to New Jersey, and then after New Jersey, we moved to Queens, and then from Queens, we moved to Roslyn, and I had a short stint also commuting from Queens to Manhattan. So my educational journey is a side issue, but along the way, my education is one piece of it, but that's the law piece, you could say, or the public education piece. But the Jewish piece is that my Persian Jewish family never really lost track of its roots.
So you went to Hofstra and Barnard law schools. You got a law degree, you practiced family law. And so your upbringing, your Jewish upbringing, obviously deeply personal. How do you balance the empathy that you have inside from your upbringing and understanding and being empathetic to other people with your objectivity in tough cases?
So the first thing is that as an attorney, when you have a client matter, there's confidentiality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also a family is turning to you for your guidance and support, and also to represent them and their needs. And the kinds of matters that come into my office, sometimes I'm representing students or families in situations that even actually have nexus to the Holocaust Center. Very specifically, kids who are accused of antisemitism, kids who are accused of homophobia, kids who are accused of acts that are anti-immigrant, things, in short, that go against my own personal grain, right? And I am in a position when speaking to these children and their families, right? Because the child is only in my office because their parents have brought them there, right? They're minors. Where I'm able to say with perspective, look, you're in this situation now, you're accused of something now that as an adult you would be facing potentially a hate crime violation. You're in a pickle now that you don't want to be in later. What can we do about this? How can you learn from this?
Very good.
Right? And so that's how I
So it's an opportunity for them to...
It's a growth opportunity.
Yeah,
that's what education is, and that's what the law really is as well.
It's more than just...
It's restorative.
Yeah, more than just incrimination, it's also restorative, like you said. You were past president and trustee of the Board of Education. That's quite an accomplishment, honestly. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of headaches. You have many parents who want to talk to you. Everybody has a different opinion about the same thing. From your perspective, how can schools do a better job of preparing young people to be engaged citizens and leaders?
I'm still a trustee.
Right.
I am not the president at this time. And I think listening is key. It's not a coincidence, by the way, that Jewish liturgy begins with Shema Yisrael, right? Here.
Interesting. Listen
And
first.
listen. And I would often say, and still do, we're here to hear, right? So that's what boards do. We listen to constituents. I've also have been known to say that a trustee is a human complaint box. But it's also nice to hear the compliments sometimes, right? If something's going well. But let's face it, human nature is sometimes to complain, and that's in the Torah too. What can we do better? What can schools do better? Know the communities they serve.
Well said.
We need to know who our end users are. Know who we serve. Know who the parent bodies are. Know who the kids are at the end of the day, and try to bridge the gaps in learning so that there can be more growth, right?
These are basic principles of great customer service. I used to actually teach customer service to some of my clientele because they didn't understand. They didn't know that they should be listening to their market, to their customers. And so it all boils down to the same thing. People are yelling at each other these days. Nobody is listening to anybody. They're just yelling. I think we all need to back up, take in a deep breath, and start listening to each other, because really we're all the same. That's what it boils down to. The only difference is what's been fed into our minds, right? And what we learned and how we grew up and the values and all of these things that make us different. But really, it's the same blood that runs through our veins. We are the same, just under different circumstances. So this is a great point that you make. And I'm so happy to hear that that's the message you like to share today. And that is, we should be listening more, paying close attention to our audience, our constituents. What are they all about? What do they know? that we don't? And how can we share these ideas so that we kind of blend a little bit better, right? And we all understand each other. Isn't that what we always wanted? We've been talking about this for centuries. We haven't gotten that far yet because we're still doing the same thing. We keep repeating.
If you think about what's above most arcs in so many sanctuaries, the translation is know before whom you stand. Da lifnei mi ata omed. Know before whom you stand. That is a customer service model.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I do believe it means God, but it also does refer to the congregation.
It does.
It is reflective.
It's humanity.
Correct.
On all levels. You went to rabbinical school. How long have you been a rabbi for?
So it's now 4 months.
4 months, okay. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much.
You're coming up to a half a year. Okay. You learned a lot being a rabbi?
I would like to say this is a continual learning model.
I'm sure it is.
Yes.
There's a lot of, jokes about rabbis, but they all boil down to the rabbi has to listen to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is about listening. I think it's a very good point you made today. I think this is one of the lessons that you're sharing with our audience, is that we have to all become better listeners. You've been an advisory board member of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York. So how do you see a role of Jewish institutions in building bridges and addressing anti-Semitism today?
So this is a great question as well. I really like these questions,
I've done
and
my
I would like your audience to know that you did not share these questions in advance. So I'm impressed by the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Listen, there are so many Jewish institutions, and before October 7th, that was, I think, part of the problem, which is to say, too much turf, right? Too much competition, whether for donor dollars or board seats or what have you. And now we have the inverse problem, which is, from a Jewish perspective, which is, I don't think we're going to have an issue with Jewish people wanting to join or Jewish people wanting to be part of Jewry, right? Now we have people wanting to sign up for things Jewish, because after October 7th, unfortunately, we've had our comeuppance. We've had the scare of our lives, the biggest pogrom since the Shoah, right? Which is one of the reasons I decided to throw in my life and my name, and add my name to those who will, be a witness and say, I too will be a rabbi, and say, my life is tethered to the lives of the Jews.
So you're saying that was a motivational factor?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
That was an inflection point for me. But what can institutions do is to be responsive. So what do I mean by that? Frankly, we have a lot of institutions. So I will actually use the one you just referenced as a great example. The JCRC has existed, thankfully, for many, many years, doing great things, such as the Celebrate Israel Parade, which I've been involved in going back to my high school years, actually before. And many, many other events, Taste of Long Island, etc. Many great things. But, the Jewish calendar, which is what guides us as Jews, right? The waxing and waning of the moon, so important. This is how we keep track. Great. JCRC understood that was not sufficient. So what did JCRC do? They started like an Uber JCRC group that meets 4 times a year, that is separate than just JCRC, and which is inclusive of the Sephardim. That's where I come in. and my people, I don't just mean me personally, of course, people like me, inclusivity, which is so important. Inclusivity of women, inclusivity of Sephardim, inclusivity of LGBTQ people, inclusivity of people who don't have means, breaking down the barriers that previously, before October 7th, kept people out of these institutions and all their turf. Because frankly, being a practicing Jew can be very costly, expensive, intimidating. There's like a knowledge barrier. There's expenses. And before October 7th, these were the things that people would many times cite as their excuses for why they didn't want or didn't join. And now we hope that we can unite.
I hope so. Now, if you can pass one lesson from your family's heritage, and if you passed it on to the next generation, what do you think it would be?
Just one?
Just one, because we only have a few minutes.
Listen to your mother.
Ah, I like that.
The matriarchy is as important as the patriarchy.
Oh, absolutely. I was just talking about that particular topic today. There's a film that I am the subject of. There's a documentary. And I talk about my mom and that I loved her so much that I understood where she came from and I listened to her. And so that is a beautiful thing that we are in sync about that. And what are the results? Are you talking to your kids right now, by the way, because they're going to be watching this? Or is this just a general?
I mean it from the sincerity of the Persian Jewish tradition.
Yes.
And my children don't actually know that I'm doing this because I try, they're living their lives. God bless them. I'll tell them after it comes out. No, but sincerely, the matriarchs and women are very important and influential in Ashkenazi culture, as we know, right? And as well in Persian and Middle Eastern tradition. They may not have been called rabbis, right? So what I'm doing is a little bit of a unicorn twist because I am a lawyer and I saw this need at this time, I think, in American history, I'm going to say. In Persian tradition, just like in Ashkenazi tradition, and I'm happy to hear that you have such respect for your mom.
Absolutely. She's not around anymore, and I still
God
respect
rest her
her.
soul.
Yeah.
God rest her soul.
Thank you. You've worn a lot of hats, and they kind of intersect. There's an intersection of law, education, religion, advocacy. What leadership qualities do you think are most needed today? What is it that we need to foster in terms of leadership qualities in the next generation?
I really think about this question a lot, believe it or not, because of my role on the school board and also because I'm so conscious, as I said, about diaspora.
Right.
My earliest memories are of, my grandparents' generation who were new to the United States. And I understood Farsi before I understood English. And whether they were happy or not, because a lot of what I was listening to were like heated arguments about the world as a child, right?
Sure.
I think the most important quality is to foster adaptivity. Adaptivity, the strength in our children. People call it resilience now, but I call it adaptivity, a knowledge that they can move, that they can surpass whatever comes their way, as generations before them did, and that Judaism is something that will tether them as it has for generations before.
Beautifully said. You've had an incredible journey so far. You still have a lot more to do. But if you were to look back, what is the one thing that you're most proud of?
I'm proud of my family.
Nice.
I'm proud of my family because everything we've done and accomplished, we've done together.
We share the same values. Obviously, family is the most important thing. You know, our children, we want them to have a great future. So we're trying to fix this broken world. Tikkun olam, right? We're trying to fix this broken world, but we can't fix it completely. They're inheriting it, and it's going to be up to them. And hopefully they'll pick up some of these leadership characteristics from yourself just by your actions and the things that you do and the things you say, and you know, move it forward and bring it forward. So this was a wonderful conversation. I thank you so much, Rebecca, for your time. I hope that a lot of people will hear this conversation because it's got a lot of humanity that you shared with everyone.
Thank you. Can I just add one thing, Bernie?
Please.
I appreciated meeting you for the first time. Your reputation precedes you.
Thank you.
You're everything that I heard and more. You made me very comfortable.
Good.
And your questions really got me to think.
Good.
And I feel remiss, so I'm just going to say,
please.
I think Judaism is adaptive, and so are other cultural traditions. So, you know, I don't mean to say that other cultures can't also adapt, and I do feel that other kids can do the same. So I've seen that in my clients. I've seen that in many of the other cultures that I interact with, you know, in our schools. And I still think adaptivity is the most important thing.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so valuable what you said. And these words ring true to me, and they will for all of our listeners today who joined us. And so thank you so much, Rebecca Sassouni, for being here. And thank our listeners today for joining us for another podcast episode of Outstanding Heroes. Actually, it's Ordinary Heroes, but you are an outstanding hero who has done extraordinary things here at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center on HMTV. I'm your host, Bernie Furshpan. Until next time.